I'm back in. Just get that 5 minutes.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Panelist.
And I am Anthony Sier, the person. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. Today is Wednesday, and it's Between the Hairlines. Talking about Between the Hairlines, we have a bigger one today to discuss. Mass suspensions coming from the office of the president. We are talking about 457 officials of government suspended for non-compliance to access declaration. Did it actually happen? Was the president in the know? What is the president going to do about this mass suspension? There's a little history here. From the time President Boakai became president, he has suspended over 12 persons or government officials. Of all of those suspended, none has made it back into government. But this one is bigger. We are talking about 447 persons, officials suspended because they failed to comply to the law called the Code of Conduct law that requires officials of government, when appointed or elected, to declare their asset before taking office. Now, to be fair to the president, he has issued about 2 ultimatums, to my knowledge, encouraging these individuals to get in compliance, and yet they have not complied to the law. And now today we have a kind of big suspension that landed on them. Will they make it back? As we can say the case with other people who got suspended by the president. So this is huge. I have series of critical questions, and our panelists are well versed for the issue, and they are ready. And the names of individuals who have been suspended also. We're talking about lawyers, senators. No, senators actually have not suspended. Sorry, I pulled that back. But they also are not in compliance with the law. The lawmakers are in violation a yeke is in violation. Now, the majority block speaker is also in violation. We will jump on that too, but we'll start with the executive first. Well, seated and ready to go to be part of the discussion is our new progressive commentator, Dr. Clarence Pearson. Welcome. How you doing?
Hi, Anthony. It's a pleasure being on the show tonight. I want to say hi to my fellow panelists and our viewers and listeners out there. It's a pleasure, and I look forward to a good night and good debate.
Thank you. Also, joining the discussion tonight is Pastor S.T. Salif. He's a sustainable development coach, and he's an accountability guy. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you, Pastor Sear. It's good to be on the show tonight. And as usual, everyone listening to us on Facebook, radio, YouTube, WhatsApp land, wherever you are on social media, welcome to the debate tonight.
And the gentleman you saw there who just took a zip from his
interview, what are some of the questions
he's using, or I know that ANC cup he's using. I don't know it's a Eula cup or the Eagles cup. I don't know. I can see the color. He would tell them what kind of cup is that. It's J. Victor Damwe, a CM political analyst here at Focus on Library. J. Victor, the progressive. Welcome. How you doing, sir?
Anthony, it is great to be here. That cup is all of the above.
All of the above. Okay. And also joining us from Canada is A. Boakai Dukle. Welcome. How you doing? Do you have a cup too that you're drinking from?
Not today. Thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. We are expecting the unabashed edition, Mr. Jerome Gidman. He drinks from a Saccharomyces cup with Saccharomyces juice in it. I hope he will show up today. Gentlemen, I can't welcome you enough. We want to take the time to welcome our esteemed audience who are always here to follow the discussion, and we want to encourage them to also share the broadcast. Gentlemen, this thing is hot. This thing is juicy. My first question is simple. When you heard this, when you saw this list, just Victor number, what first jumped out of you? For me, it was like, can this be true? Is this fake? Is this real? What jumped out of you when you saw this list of 457 officials of government suspended by the president?
I mean, I felt the same shock. Really, I know that there have been, several reporting in the various local and even social media of, the magnitude of non-compliance to the president's call for asset declaration, which is really the law. But I didn't imagine over 450 people have not, and that that does not even include the legislature, which I will talk about whether that is not within the purview of the president. When I was standing, I was shocked. That so many people, and what also shocked me, which we will drill down a little deeper, was the release mentioned that the president gave the last ultimatum, I think, since November 17th. He gave 10 days, and today is what, February 12th. Almost what, three months or so. Why? Those are the two things that jumped at me. Why is the president, I mean, these people are dictating to the president. They're on the president's terms. The president is not calling the shots on this issue. But we'll go into details on this. But that's what shocked me: the magnitude of non-compliance and just the length of time and the begging from the president.
And Dr. Pearson, was it like a surprise to you? Or what was your first reaction when you saw the list and read about this news?
Thank you, Mr. C. Yeah, it was a kind of a shocking, because we all understand that the president had been lackadaisical on this issue of dealing with asset declaration. Even he himself was belated in his own declaration. But yeah, let's be frank, it was welcoming at the same time for me. This is something we've advocated for, and it's heartwarming when you advocate for something for your nation that will take your nation in the right direction, and you see it come to pass. That excitement is in you and so I went to as far as putting the president picture as my profile picture for a couple of hours. because I thought someone woke him up. Whatever tabagi he ate that today, whoever woke him up and fed him without tabagi, he already put energy in him. But again, it goes down to say, I think he pulled from former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf playbook. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did similar stuff with her entire cabinet, and I think that's one of the things that put her a loggerhead with the broom man, who call him the broom man these days. Councillor, how they call him again? The old man.
Gonglo,
Tier 1 Gonglo, and that caused him not to get, return to the cabinet. But I mean, that's what I saw today. But again, before I leave this, turn it over to you. But again, I know we'll have more discussion on this. But again, you see the haphazard approach to what the president did today, and it didn't appear to me like he took his time to have gone through the list and dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure that whatever decision that were coming down, we'll have some plan B in action in terms of defending us as a nation from the after effect of that decision.
Thank you. And Mr. Ducle, what went through your mind when you heard about this? And does the president deserve some credit here? Because either way you look at it, for a suspension to come down, it must come from the president. He's the head of the government. He has the executive power. Does he deserve some credit here? We're talking about 457 persons for non-compliance.
Well, I think I was little baffled only at the length of time that has elapsed until we got to this point. That was the only part that I didn't understand. Why did it have to take all this time before an enforcement of such that we saw had to come in place? So in a way, yeah, it's an encouraging sign. I think the president does deserve some credit here if the enforcement that has been put in place is going to be carried on. Yes. So at least for once, we can say, yes, we are seeing some sign that someone somewhere is yielding to some of the criticism that those of us that are in the diaspora have been calling for. And again, I'm yet to see if actually this enforcement is going to come into place. Because to say that we're going to enforce something, yeah, they said they're going to be suspended. That's one thing. And to actually see them continue not getting their salary or they're suspended, that's completely another. So the whole exercise of having to put these people on suspension and because of not being compliant with the asset declaration, it's a good sign of, I mean, in the midst of all the misfortune and the missteps that this government has had, I think this is one bright spot thus far.
Mr. Sirleaf, do you agree with Mr. Ducle that this, without any question, is a bright spot when we're looking at accountability and the rule of law here?
I think it's dismal to me, in my estimation. It's very dismal. What my reaction when I got the news today was, why now? That was my reaction. Why now? This was one of their deliverables for the first 100 days. Let's remember that. The first 100 days, this was part of their deliverables. So something as simple as that. And even to sign the transparency pledge, that's a word they gave for that, So my question is, why now? And yes, it's commendable. It's a first step. And like Jay Victor said, we will go into the meat and bones of that. But it's the first step. It's commendable. But the question is, why now? And two, is very dismal. And my question around it is, has his son, because I know his son works with NOCAL somewhere, and that is a government entity, has his son declared his own access? Has the chief of staff declared his access? Has his party chairman declared access? Has the press secretary, the people closest to him? Or is this just a fishing expedition that we are on, So I got some mixed reaction. And see, Dr. Pearson said from the Ellen playbook, I'm thinking, is he learning from the Elon Musk playbook by just, because those are the people doing such things nowadays. So that's the only question, why now? Why not the first 100 days? Why not the first year in office? Why now? I want to know. Is there something
So I asked you
nefarious?
that question. Why you think? Why now? Why
I
do you
don't
think the
know.
president is making the decision now?
That's why we're on the show. We gotta dig deeper. We gotta dive deeper to find out, because I know this administration is full of distractions. Maybe this could just be a shiny object to remove our focus from something real that is going on, so that we start to chase this shiny object, and then we forget about what actually happening. So I want to know, why now, President Boakai? Why now? Why not in the first 100 days? Why not in the first 6 months? Why now? There got to be a reason.
And Mr. Nambe, looking at the scope of it, in your estimation, how big of a deal this is when you look at the operation of the government? We're talking about 457 officials of government, many of whom are head of agencies here. Don't you think it will have any impact on the operation of the government? Are you of the opinion that they might have taken that into consideration before coming down with this list of suspended officials?
Yeah, I think it's big in its magnitude and in its reach. Quickly, let me venture on the question you asked ST Solid just now. Why now? I have, and I'm not alone here. A number of us have expressed our disappointment and frustration over the slow pace of this government's, grasp of the reality of the plight of our people and how long it's taking them to do 1A, 2, and 3. But at least I am going to venture here to go on a limb and say I think this president is ready to step up his game, and I hope I will not have to eat my words on this. But I think and if you look at his record over the past at least 12 months, he seems to be conflict adverse, and maybe this is a way of trying to clean house. So I will go on a limb here and say I think he's ready. He's getting ready to turn the page. I hope so. But as to the magnitude and the size of this, yes, some of the names on the list are ambassadors, like you said, heads of agencies, and so it is big. But again, the release that I read also authorized, those serving in these agencies who have declared the assets, and I guess the next officer in line should take over. So at least the agencies, I think, will still remain functional. Again, all things being held constant, it is hope that is what is going to happen. But yes, it is big, and there are some surprises on it as well. I think some of the names on there are also, close confidants of the president as well. So really, I'm a little bit encouraged by this. I really, I'm holding my breath here. I hope this is the president we are all anticipating and expecting, who's about to wake up and come into play. I hope.
So, gentlemen, here is the history of it all. President Boakai preached this rule of law, and he got elected. And he failed to declare his asset and publishing it before taking office. The law we're talking about requires that one must declare before taking office. So he was in violation. We all jumped on him, rightfully so. And he reluctantly declared his asset. And the other thing was, look, that is not enough. For the sake of transparency, you need to publish it. And the president, I think a few months later, he published an asset. And then he encouraged his officials to do so. I know of 2 instances that he encouraged his officials. And then they went further and came up with a policy document for performance. All right. And that the officials need to sign up. And in it also was this aspect of asset declaration. So this is the president, because he knew he was in violation, he needed time, and have given them this much time. I'm just trying to pin this picture to see where is the president mind on this? What is your reading of the president mind on this? Is it a president who is angry and frustrated that he too have to take some whipping from the public for delaying And now he has been encouraging his people to do so, and they continue to renege. It said that he felt disrespected to the greater extent for which he said, look, these guys must be suspended. I have talked, and no one has listened. Is this your reading of the president mind here on this issue? Because in all fairness, this is big. And I put it on you, Dr. Pearson, because you have given the president some credit here. You changed your profile picture, to President Boakai. Yeah, so I think you have a sense of what's going through his mind here. What's your reading?
I'm sure that you people got a screenshot of his profile picture and saving it.
We gotta keep it for time to come.
I know some of them did. That's what I have to be on record. There's this tendency in Liberia that when you are criticizing government, then it means to say you hate everything about the government, and then you hate everybody in the government. That is not the true. That's not true, rather. And the reason I say that's not true is because we all, as Liberians, we want to see the best for our country. And whenever something is done that we are advocating for, we need to acknowledge it so that people know that we are paying attention. We're not just only calling for change, but when we see the change, we should acknowledge it. And that's what I did today. Hence my photo. But what I would say to you, Mr. CA, is that if I would take the conversation a little bit further, is that yes, I see President Boakai. He woke up this morning and he has said in his head, listen, all of those guys that were being given a lot of rope to make the necessary corrections, the Liberian people said do the needful, and finally they didn't do the needful, so I'm going to take some drastic action this morning. But what I think I would like to lift, since I have the opportunity right now, is the fact that what I see here again is the same thing with the asset recovery. It's the same thing with other decisions that the president took without giving himself time. You see, you can have the decision in mind, but the execution of that decision comes with another planning. So yeah, you've given people a deadline. You've called them to attention that you take this action at this point in time. But then when you go to execute that action, you have to execute by plan. So I'm not sure what the plan was. And the reason I bring this up, Mr. C, is that because if you look at what happened today, you will find out that we have our ambassador at the UN, right, Louis Brown, who probably woke up this morning and saw a name on that list. So whatever negotiation is undergoing with promoting Liberia for the permanent seat there, they feel he's already on it this whole week. So which means, is he going to stop everything he's doing, put a pen down, and walk away until he declare asset? And let's leave that. Look at LEC. We've been complaining about LEC the whole week, the whole last week, the whole month. Serious problem at LEC. The whole interim management, the whole new management at LEC is on that list. So is LEC going to shut down? Who are they going to turn over to? And so there are those areas in there that we need to be very cautious about. And some of us are wanting to know, like, how did the president finally come up with this decision, and with making sure that we are not standing up and digging hole on ourselves at the same time. What precaution and what safety net that he has in place, apart from just saying those who are next in command will take charge, when in fact the whole LEC management team is on the list. So who's going to take in charge? The gate boy, So and those are the kind of things I want to just are going to be talking more on tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, and Mr. Dukley, I want you to pick up where Dr. Pearson just stopped, using the LEC as an example. This is a critical area, and the government been struggling. Now, all the leaders there have not declared their asset. I believe that it was the president was in the right to suspend these officials. But again, it's also on the president why he didn't make these people to declare their asset even before taking office. Is the president now, his action is said like commentary after the march? How do you see it?
Well, I think if you look at it from the grand scheme of things as they unfolded, I mean, this unitary party government has been plagued with lots of missteps and terrible decisions, and the least of which you can say is the saga going on in the House. So being tainted with all of that, and to see a glimmer of hope in the exercise they've just come up with regarding the asset declaration, despite it being, smaller than one would have expected, yet it still gives one the hope that something can be done, something is possible. But you see, Anthony, usually the president is supposed to be the one to set the tone, and everybody else will follow, or everybody else will fall in line. And I think this is one aspect of Joseph Boakai that has been lacking, which is his decisiveness in taking these decisions. Because you see, I think, and I think I've said this over and over before on this very platform, one of the ways to make this effective is to actually legislate the fact that any government position must be contingent upon, I guess, declaring your asset as a precondition, as one of the conditions upon which one must do before assuming any cabinet position or any position in the government for that matter.
I think that is the case. The Code of Conduct Law, all right, was voted upon by the legislature. They passed it into law. And the President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf affixed a signature to this when President Boakai was vice president then. So this is a legislation. So
I know. But I guess for me, besides the legislation, now does the legislature has an enforcement mechanism to make sure that this law is followed?
Definitely, it does. Before it did not. But then
now, if the answer is yes, which we do, now how has the president enforced these mechanisms that are put in place to make sure that, because you see, asking one of the things that is lacking, and that's why I was making mention of decisiveness. But decisiveness, I mean, even if you are the most prominent individual appointed or named to a particular position, you give them a time frame. If this is not done within this time, you are out. Plain and simple, and stick to that. So for those, again, and what I'm saying is it has to be practiced for people to see it happen. They know that, yes, the president means business. The president is serious about what he or she is saying. So the enforcement mechanism must be followed to the letter, so that whoever is responsible, so whoever is in that position knows that, you know what, if I don't meet this criteria, I'm not going to be nominated or I'm not going to get that position. And let people internalize this as a way of doing business.
Thank you.
But some people are so complacent to the point where they feel like they're above the law, or they're above whatever regulation that is in place. They can still get away with it. With that mentality and the mindset, and probably you can see why this thing has dragged on up to this time. Otherwise, you expect this to be done not later than February after the president takes over. So 2 months is enough, because all of this is not happening in vacuum. During the campaign season, people are aware of what is expected. In other words, the opposition party is usually supposed to be a government in waiting, so that you don't need any extra preparation to take over when inauguration is over. You would have all your ducks lined up, and you're just ready to execute. So when you are executing this, each and everybody who is coming to the new government know what is expected of them. So again, that's where the decisiveness of the leader comes in. But again, like I said, despite all of this, we should still commend the president for this position that he has taken thus far.
Thank you. For those who are commending the president, it is this thing I call minimalism. Why commend the president for suspending 447 persons? And this is my take. I'm going to participate in the discussion. So, whose creation is this mess in the first place? This is the president's creation. There is a law that says before any public official can take office, that public official must declare their assets. That is the law. The president was in violation a few months before he could do so. He corrected course, even though he was in violation. And for about a year, he allowed this to continue. This is a mess that he has created. And now cleaning this mess is going to cause some problem for him. So I don't understand those of you who are commending the president here. What kind of commendation are you giving the president? This is something that should not have happened in the first place. He shouldn't have allowed this to happen. I would even want to see a president who appoints and say, well, I want to see your assets declared in the next 2 months before I can even send your name to the Senate for confirmation. If your assets not declared in public, I'm not going to send you that. And you're not ever going to take seat. This whole thing would have been avoided, and now he created a mess, and now he's trying to find a solution of a mess, and we think he needs to be commended. So, Pastor Salif, you said this is this month. That was the word you used. Tell me, your friends are saying the president needs to be commended. I disagree.
No way. It is this matter of fact. It's too little, too late. I do not commend mediocrity. Okay, I would not commend mediocrity. In the first place, this is belated, and we have to have a standard if we want to achieve sustainable development. You know, the Liberian man, we always love to have this do well trophy. Liberia, we're not going far because we always celebrate mediocrity. You see, you see the Lone Star team will go and play another country. They trash them 2-0. They come back. Other national countries, watch Liberia, watch it and tell me if I'm lying. Other countries in Africa, they will immediately fire the coach. There was a time, one of the countries in Africa I was living in at the time, in 1 year, they fired more than 5 coaches because every time they lost a game, they fire a coach. That's a country that adheres to standard. They know what they want and they must achieve it. It's only in Liberia. Liberia is the only country that the national team can go and play in the whole tournament and drop out in the first round, and you will still hear the citizens say, oh, but the men do well. Oh, they better, you mean Senegal only get them 2-0? That's the Senegal team. You know how much they get the other people, they get them 5. And only 2-0 they get, oh, the men did well. How do we celebrate failure? And this is exactly the example of that. The law says that before you take office, you're supposed to declare assets. The president put it in his 100 days deliverables that this was going to be done. It was never done. More than 1 year. And then we say, I should commend that. I shouldn't commend that. It's a failure. Okay? It's too little, too late. So the question I keep asking, why is he even doing it now? That could be a reason why he's doing it. Why he didn't do it in the 100 days. Why he didn't do it in the first 6 months. Why he didn't do it in the first 9 months. Why he didn't do it in the first 1 year. After 1 year, you come in now to do mass suspension. Then there got to be some nefarious reasons behind that, in my own estimation. Why now? That's the question I'm asking. It's the same question I asked when they talk about the war crime code. I said, why now? I asked the same question. My very first time on FOL, I don't remember the lady that was there. Everybody was mad at me. Why now? After we lost more than 250,000 people, every other country, there was war crime code, there was, accountability. Liberia, we said no. All the people who actively took part in the war, who actively sponsored the war, who led the mayhem in Liberia, they still ran the country. They used up the country's resources. Then now we come and say we're doing war crime code. It's mockery. Why now? What's the reason? So for me, I choose to stand alone. This president does not want commenting on this issue. That will be celebrating mediocrity because it should have been done before anybody took office. That is the standard. We got to be a country that adheres to the rule of law. If the law is not being followed, and then the president, even if the president had done it 3 years from now, people will still commend him because that's who we are. We have no standard. We stand for nothing. We fall for everything. And then we wonder why the country is backwards.
I I couldn't agree with you more, and I think you heard me when I made my own commentary. I will not commend the president on this earth. You take me to Mars, I will not commend him. This is a mess he created. There is a law that he had in his hand. The man took oath to enforce the laws of this country. Of the laws is this simple one, code of conduct. Code of conduct. The president campaign as a rule of law candidate.
Yeah, but let's get the answer.
Hold on. You just had enough time. I'm coming to J. Victor Namwe, because J. Victor Namwe, from what I'm gathering from him, he's one of those Liberians who subscribe to Dayware Trophy. And commercially, you couldn't have put it right. This is a Dayware Trophy.
Yeah.
And J. Victor, you are commending the president on this. I call this shared nonsense. I will be tough today. This is shared nonsense. This should not have happened in the first place.
So
nonsense.
If I took, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if I was someone who took pleasure in Dayware Trophy, my Eagles would not be on top of the world. So
you can't diffuse the whole argument with that ego.
But listen, I think there's a, I think there's a point to be made about the belittleness of the president's action. I absolutely agree.
Okay.
I mean, look, but it is unfortunate that this is our reality. Are we dropping the bar too low for the president? Absolutely. But is something better than nothing? Absolutely. And like I said, I indicated that I am hoping that this is the president who we all had hoped for. And this is a president who is getting ready to turn the corner. And if that is it, then I am going to appreciate his effort for staying with the issue, not giving up on it, and lifting it up. And I hope, again, if it is the beginning steps of the president we all expected, yes. Could it have happened a long time ago? Absolutely. And I think he muddled the message by his own action. Like you said, Brother Anthony. He himself, he did not declare himself when he got in office for several months, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, 6 months or so. And that in itself, I think it kind of blunted out his own message or his whatever intentions he had, to make this. And I understand from those who know him up close, this is a president who prides himself on integrity, doing the right thing. And I think the fire is still in there. I hope it is getting ready to come out. It is on this basis that I think he should be commended for what he's doing. Hopefully, he will stay with it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yes, the other piece of it, I did some research and I compiled a list of officials President Boakai has suspended since taking office. I was able to arrive at 14 names. 4 persons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 persons from the Laboratory Communication Authority. Then we have the executive director for the National, that's the Liberian Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission. 3 persons there, by the way. They were suspended by the president for corruption there. And also we have the executive director for administration, deputy director for administration, that is NPHIL, National Public Health Institute of Liberia. This person was, I think, to government property. And then J. Alosha Talu, Central Bank Governor. Then don't forget the Drug Enforcement Agency, Hassan Fadiga and Ibrahim Kroman. And now I'm forgetting also the CEO of NOCA. And then I think there is another person there from the LDEA. That person is the Deputy Director for Administration. The name is Mr. Banwo Kawo. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the name well. 14 persons. So far, the president has suspended since becoming president of Republic of Liberia. All of these persons since suspended. I'm forgetting what's his name, Steve Zago, right? Immigration, And he was scheduled to come back today from what I read. And now because he failed to declare his asset, they hammer landed on him again. If he comes back after the other suspension, he will be, to my knowledge, the only person to return from suspension. All other persons suspended by the president of the state. But this one is, we were talking about 445, 57 person. Is it possible that some of these people will not return? Some will return. What's your reading? Let me start with you, Mr. Dukley. You think some of these people, Mr. Boakai, established a history of you face suspension, you're not coming back? You are muted, sir. You are muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Anthony, it remains to be seen. But I must say to you and Brother Salif, I see a point. This action being seen as dismal, but I want you to look at the totality of the performance of this government. Overall, their performance has been dismal, and so when you see something like this, despite it being belated, there should be some recognition for what it is, despite it being, as he characterized as mediocre. But again, the individuals, some of these individuals that are on that list, and some of which you just mentioned.
Let me interrupt you here. Should we have had it in the first place? Could the president have prevented this in the first place? You think it was preventable?
Yes. Yeah, I will be the first to tell you yes, Anthony. And that's what I told you. If you factor in the totality of the performance of this Unity Party government since the inception of their government, it has just been one mess after another, So if you see something like this, it is it's little, and it could have been avoided. We shouldn't have gotten to this point, but it should be commended for what it is. Yes, it's something good.
Here's the other part, right? This government now, this Unity Party government now, when it was in opposition, they grilled the CDC officials, including President Weah. I had joined them and we were on the CDC back. How can you do this? You failed to declare your asset. And the Unity Party, including President Boakai, they were on Weah and the CDC. And these are the people that have come to power. And they have done worse than CDC on the subject.
Yes.
And now they're trying to clean the mess, and you want us to commend them. I don't
Yes,
understand.
I'm in total agreement with you. And that's why I keep coming back to the fact that you have to factor in their performance since they came to power. Nothing good has come out of them. It's just been one mess after another. So again, we shouldn't have gotten to this point to begin with. But you have to start from somewhere in terms of recognizing at least something they have done, at least that is something that we can say, yeah. I'm with you compared to where they were and at the opposition and the way they have performed so far. We shouldn't even be talking about this. I'm with you 100%. But at least something good has happened. So let's recognize it for what it is, as minute as it might be, but there's something that has happened. Yes, I also get the fact that it's belated. We should not even have been here. We are in 2025. They took power 2024, January. I get all of that. But you see, again, we have all come to recognize Joseph Boakai is not a decisive leader. Joseph Boakai is not a leader who is far-sighted, who is looking beyond, who is a visionary leader. We know all of that, and Joseph Boakai's performance has also proven that to us beyond reasonable doubt. We got all of that, but again, this is what we've got, and we've got to live with it for the next 5 years to come. And so, I'm one of those who has been trying to hold this government at a very high standard. So as little as this might be, it's still something that we should commend them for it.
All right. I commend them for vomiting on their own food and trying to clean the vomit from their food. We should commend them because it was a mistake that they vomited on their own food. My neo-progressive commentator changed the profile to the president's picture. He's saying, look, let's look at it this way. I have to commend this man. This man, maybe it's on a double gear heavy. Maybe this double gear, it has some pepper in it this time. Not only the solar were in it. It has some pepper in it from the side. He said the old man woke up. He said, look, these guys disrespected me so much. I've been pleading with these people. So I think they got to take a break. But let us talk on the other aspect of it, right? The CSA boss, Josiah Joker, is jumping on this because the government is saying, look, in as much as you are suspended, you will not get paid. We can suspend you and pay you when you are already in, you are in non-compliance. We suspended you. You will remain suspended and on pay when you don't declare your asset. And Josiah is saying, I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to block those officials. Is that commendable? Is Josiah really on this thing as he should, or he's taking it too far here? Dr. Pearson, what's your read of Josiah's action?
I think Josiah has always been one of those who are on the A ball. I may not agree on all of his approaches, some of the things he's done 100%, but for the most part, he's been one of those who've done a great job. And I think this one also, he got it, he nailed it right on the head. He's on top of his game, and Josiah Joker should be applauded for the work he's doing. But having said that, when you were pushing us concerning why we try to commend President Boakai, there's something in psychology we call gratification, or maybe giving some form of reward, for something good done. So if I had, I'm not saying I'm talking about President Boakai right now, okay? So I don't sound disrespectful, but if I were training a pet and I instructed the pet to do something, and the pet is as dumb as can be, but the pet today did something right, I must give it that reward so that it knows I'm rewarding it for something good. So next time when I give an instruction, it probably might be encouraged to do it again. So that's why we're saying here, when the government does something good, we should commend them. And when they do something wrong, we come down hard on them. But I want to say something, Mr. C. I think where I want to go with this conversation, in addition to Josiah Joker, what he said, is this. Now, the Justice Minister is not on the list of those who comply. Justice Minister Tue. He's also not on the list of those who they say deny comply. So where is the Justice Minister in a whole thing? He's an important figure. The Education Minister is on that list, and education is facing serious constraint in our country, and she's doing extremely well. She's one of those ministers that the people praise a lot. So I mean, how did the president go about this whole thing? And then you go to DA, where drug is a major concern. We just lost all the top leaders of the DA, and then two of the DA top leaders on that list also, operations, deputy for operation, deputy for administration, they're on that list. Then don't stop there. Go to Grisby. Grisby is not on the list of those who comply, and he's not on the list of those who did not comply. So what happened to the minister, the guy who called in all the shots in the country there? So I'm thinking where we need to start to drive this conversation is, what could he have done better in this process so that those who come after him, as soon as he leaves from there, we're going to be getting rid of him to bring Jeremiah Kuhn in. So if Jeremiah Kuhn now will have to appoint, government officials, how can he get it right? I think that the conversation I want to have, how can we get this right the next time we do it, Mr. C?
Thank you. And I was just about to get to the list. And J. Victor, I'm going to start with you. I'm sure you might have read the list and gone through it. Tell me the names of individuals you saw, and you were like, wait a minute. A2 Brutus? I mean, what names you saw on that list, and you were disappointed that they failed to declare their assets, given who they are, in as much as you know them, or maybe the role they play in government?
Quite honestly, I did look at the list. I'm not too familiar with most of the people in there. I didn't see a name that jumped at me.
Mhm.
But I did see on the legislature's list, I did see Richard Kuhn on that list, who is
Mhm.
supposed to be the government's favorite speaker. I think the deputy speaker is also on that list too. And I'm only mentioning this because these are the people who are the drivers, who man the levers of government that is supposed to drive probity in our society. But yeah, I haven't really scrutinized that list quite closely, so I will leave it to my colleagues here. They may have taken a closer look. If a few names jumped at me, Ambassador.
Our understanding is that Louis Brown, who was commissioned, I think today or yesterday by the president,
Yes,
is now in compliance. This
I
man has
understand.
been in government from the time I was a little boy.
Yes, that was a disappointment. Louis, for full disclosure, is a very close friend. I hope he'll get to it. I mean, he got appointed quite a while now, so I think he should have done that. And I hope this will spur him into action. But to Dr. Pearson's point,
No, let me give you some names so you can comment.
okay, please.
Laura Musu Scott,
Okay,
she's on the list.
yeah,
Dr. Ah Hassan Content,
yeah.
he's on the list. Your favorite lawmaker, I'm just joking, yeah. Yeka Koloba with a wild mouth, who accuses everyone of everything. His name
Yeah.
is on the list.
So, Councillor Muzu Scott, that's a shocker because what do we say? She should have known. She's one of those people who I don't want to say none of the people on the list don't know better, but especially she being a lawyer and all of that, understanding the full implication of what is at stake here. That's a shocker. Yes, Koluba and all of these people, I understand they're on that list. It is just really disconcerting. But I was going to before I give it up, Dr. Pearson mentioned some of the names that he's kind of concerned about as to how this will impact them. I understand his concern, but if these people are so effective in government, then they should be complying with the rule of law. If the law requires that they should declare the asset, that's part of their job function. That's part of their job prescription. They should make sure if you're going to be a good education minister, you should also be a law-abiding citizen. Declare your asset. So they can't be on a job, 10 months, 12 months later when they're, it is possible some of them are willing to accumulate enough, before they come out and declare their asset. And all of these things, they mean something. Also, when you're coming in government, one of the reasons why you should declare asset is that you also have to declare if you have liabilities, because these are some of the things that will drive your character. If you're coming into government and you owe $100,000, $700,000, $1 million to some agency, you will have the motivation to find ways to hustle and try to pay that money. That could impact your credibility. This is why it is important. You can't wait and come in government and wait 6 months, 10 months down the road. I don't care how effective you are in your role. That is a lapse that is major in my characterization.
Thank you. When I look at assets declaration, I see it as the background check that is needed for one to start work here in the U.S. That's how I see it also. Because in Liberia, I'm not sure background checks are done. I even doubt if interviews are conducted by the president. I'm not sure if President Boakai had a team of individuals vetting people who he appointed. The only one I know, to my knowledge, was some lawmakers, being part of a committee for vetting.
If I may just throw in 5 seconds.
Yes, please.
The line you push in there is also very important. What is the ability of these people to verify, what these people are declaring to them? Do they have the capacity to check on what these people are reporting, or they just take the paper and file it away? I'm not knocking on their credibility, but that is also an issue of concern, whether they have the capacity to verify some of these things that these people are declaring. Because some of the assets some of the people are declaring are overseas. They're not even in Liberia.
I agree, right? But it speaks to the honesty and integrity of the very individuals. taking their responsibility serious, respecting the country that they want to serve. There's a law that says, look, if you are given an opportunity, this is a privilege given to you among millions of Liberians who are equally qualified. And the law said, look, just declare your asset and start your responsibility. And they just don't care. I don't know what excuse anybody wants to give here that, look, this is a high-performing minister, even though they didn't declare, you got to be careful before you suspend them because they're not being on the job might impact your government. I don't subscribe to that. If this person is so effective, if this person projects themselves or his or himself to be the one who knows what to do, the first thing to know what to do is to declare your asset. Just as when you get a job here in the US, you get subjected to background check. I know you fingerprint, you do everything before you can start the job. Look, the picture I'm painting here is that this thing is not anything to commend the president for. We have somebody who have been in government we're talking about here. What kind of experience that was marketed? Was that a bad experience? Because that's what I'm getting. If the experience was so good enough, that experience should have ensured that, look, before you get in my government, you got to declare your asset. Period. If you don't declare your asset, you're not going to start work. That's a good experience. But that was never the case. So, I mean, this whole process, this day wear trophy, commentary after the match is it's mediocrity. That's what it is. This is minimalism to the lowest. We should not subscribe to this nonsense. That is why our country is where it is. Why are we praising this man? For a mess that he created. And he's trying to clean up by creating further mess. This government has been crippled by this thing.
Mr. C, one second, interject. 1 second. I just want to interject 1 second.
Go ahead.
You know, as a classroom teacher, and what I've known over the years is that when you even have a dull student in class, the day that student made 70, you got to commend the student for that 70. You can't say because the student failed, miserably all semesters to the middle 70. You can't say, oh, you think you did well, you ain't only 1 year. The president only got did well trophy for this one because he had the courage to take action. But we are just saying, listen, it's just that to any working place, Mr. CA, you get HR, you get the executive director, you got the supervisor. Everybody role are different. So that's what the HR is there for. How the HR will address an employee situation different how the executive director will address it. The executive director say you are fired. The HR will say no, chief. Wait a minute. What did the man do? How did the man do it? What the policy say? So we're just saying the president may have blunder, but there are still some things that we can check off and say you got 70 years. That's all.
Right. So I want us to talk on the aspect of Josiah now. The CSA boy is saying, look, in as much as you are on this suspension, I'm blocking you. You're not gonna get paid. And when you get the job, when you do the right thing, when you do the needful, as they were saying in Liberia, you let us know, then you will get back on the payroll. Is that something commendable, Mr. Salih? I mean, this is almost like trying to clean up the mess. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, it's. I think Josiah Joker, he's the only person I can comment. I'm listening to my colleagues and I'm just chuckling underneath. This mediocrity, do you know we started right from the classroom in Liberia? When I was in high school, you will find somebody, okay, maybe the passing grade, maybe from 70. Somebody score maybe 55. Instead of feeling sad, he said, oh, man, you missed 55 on that quiz. He said, oh, that only me. He said, how many other men made? That man made 45. So you commend it. Both of you failed. There's nobody there to commend. Both of you failed. You can't commend them. Your child cannot come from school and fail the class. Then you say, oh, but at least out of the class of 25, I only came 13th place. So the other guy, he was way to the last place. Both of you failed. There's nothing there to comment. You know, this is not a passing grade like Dr. Clarence said. Oh, he's 70. That's not 70. That is a 40. It's not 70. This should have been done in the first 100 days. It should have been done in the first 6 months, the first 9 months, the first 1 year. It's coming way after the 1 year. Then you say, oh, it's 70. That's failure. You know, you can't accept that for the way we marketed. That's why I keep saying Joseph Boakai was a fraud on the country. The way we marketed him, we deceived the Liberian people that this man was coming with wealth of experience, spending 12 years as vice president, 12 consecutive years. And then he came back and started to create mess. It's a failure. Let us put it plain blank. Josiah Joker, I commend him. If you are not working, why should you get paid? That's the question. If you're not working, you shouldn't get paid. You're on a suspension. Why should we pay you? If we pay you, that means we're telling you, you know what, it's okay. Next time you can flat the law. When you suspend somebody and you pay them, what you actually doing, you're putting them on vacation. It's not suspension. Because that means I'm not working. I can sit at home. I get salary. That's vacation. That's not suspension. So if you are suspended, yes, you should be blacked. You should not even come to the office. You should not even drive the government vehicle. You shouldn't even do anything until you are cleared. And that's just the right step. You see, when we take some of these austerity measures, then people will sit up and know the right thing to do. Now, why do we do assets declaration? Number one is for check and balance. 2 is to stem up corruption out of the system. We want to know what you're bringing into government so that when you're leaving, we know what you're taking out. So we're in a short period of time. Josh Weah, by the time he got inaugurated, he breaking down his 9th Street house and remodeling it into a mansion, building condominium. Those are the reasons you do asset declaration. And when people went to talk, they say, oh, the man have money. That now the man money he using from the government. That okay, you had that money. Why you didn't break down your 9th Street mansion first until you became president? Why you had the money? Why you didn't build a condominium before becoming president? You know, so that's why people declare their assets. So if the president who was vice president for 12 consecutive years, if he doesn't know these things and coming at this last minute to do it, I will be the last person to commend him. He's a failure. I do not celebrate mediocrity. The man failed. And the best way, if we love Boakai and want him to do better, when we don't give him a pass on this, then he will know that, oh, the country is waking up. I have to step up. I got to do more. But if he can sit down 1 year pass, he does nothing. Boakai will sit down again, another 2 years pass, then he will do one other little thing. And then we say, oh, after 2 years, he didn't do anything. So let's just thank him for this one. Nobody playing me for a fiddle like that. You know, so Josiah Joker, commendable. Those guys should never get salary, no allowance, no gas slip, nothing until everything is over. That's the right thing. If you're not working, why would we take money from to pay you?
And gentlemen, the thing is that I think they also said they should turn over government properties.
Everything should be turned over. Why you suspended?
If you've been suspended before, even your ID card, your working ID card, they take it from you. At my job, if you are suspended, I mean, you may not have done anything wrong, but the fact that someone complained you, there got to be an investigation. You are not even found guilty yet. The company will demand your ID card.
And then we shouldn't give a pass to high-performing ministers,
yes,
because they're high-performing. So they decide to flat the law. So we should give them a pass. That means anybody can just be high-performing and just do anything they want. No, we shouldn't. This is the impunity we're talking about. It shouldn't.
So again, Dr. Pearson mentioned that again. This is the look. Those of us in education, there's something called positive reinforcement. Sometimes, you acknowledge the better part of a not so good behavior, right? To kind of shame the bad behavior. Is this, the expectation? No, it is not. It is not. I think we all here agree. But is it better than nothing at all? Absolutely. And we're hoping tonight, by giving this president his props, we hope we also give him the encouragement to do more. We cannot allow perfection to be the end. We're hoping that, yes, it should do better, but at least this is something we think that is worthy of some commendation. I don't think we're saying, oh yes, he has, he has topped the charts. Oh my God, Boakai, Jesus, yes, the best president ever. I don't think that's what we're saying here. But I will pass it on. I didn't do one of the comment. I know Pastor Silly, I always say you bring the heat. But sometimes you gotta find middle ground. I'm not saying he's an extremist, but I'm saying in the scheme of things, I believe that Boakai deserves a check mark. Again, it is conditional in hopes that this is the beginning of better performance to come.
If Boakai had done it in the first 5 months, I would say, okay, the 100 days he didn't do it, okay, I get. But after 1 year, J. Victor, after 1 year, he reminds me of my late sister. The way he did the mass suspension, my late sister, you can complain, oh, your children doing this. She would not do it. She would never discipline them. Right. Because she only disciplined her children, not because of what they did, it's because people keep complaining in her ear. So the day the children did not do anything that is worth discipline, she would just descend on them. That thing she's doing, she's not doing it because the children did something bad. She's doing it because people complaining. So JMB, I will commend him when he does well, but not this one.
Point taken.
All right. Folks in cyberspace, if you are just joining us, this is Between the Headlines, and we are discussing the mass suspension for non-compliance. Is President Boakai awake now? Many people.
But Anthony, though, don't forget, it is conditional. If I remember the release, I got to go back to it. But I think what he said is they remain suspended until. So there is an upper and lower limit. There are perimeters around this suspension, even though he's recalling whatever government property may be in their possession. But they said they will remain suspended without pay, I believe, until they declare it. So some of them could very well declare by tomorrow and go back to work. Who knows?
Some did today.
Exactly.
See, so that is what we are talking about. That it has to come to this. You have to be like a child who is whipped, you understand, for bad behavior before you can do what is right. These are leaders chosen by the president to lead agencies, and the bare minimum of declaring the declared assets. This is an example they need to set as people who should lead, all right, and being an example when it comes to accountability. They feel flat, and now they have to take their job from them and give them instruction to go and do so, and then immediately they come back to work. So my question is, what could be a better way around this by the president? All right, what could be a better way around this by the president, and what should be a better way going forward concerning this? Let's start with that.
If I may jump in, I think to salvage, where he is now, we're making lemonade out of lemon now. I think he should now, impose. I don't want to say roadblock. He should impose bricks, graduated. Let him impose every 6 months or 3 months. They should all declare, I think it will make it better. I think that's what the law requires, that it should be a continuous process. I think the law requires, a year or so. But yeah, if he's really serious, let him make it a continuous process. Whether you have declared now, if it's not 2 months worth for the LLCs, maybe every 6 months, you should demand that you all come and tell us what is it, and that will give us an opportunity to compare where they were 6 months ago to where they are today.
So, Mr. Nawe, if you were in the position of the president, that it has taken these officials this long, you are aware that the LSCC have published the list of officials who are not in compliance, I think 2 or 3 times.
Correct.
I think about 2 times they did. I know of a press conference, I have the video. I made effort to get to the boss of LSCC for an interview because it was funny to me. This integrated institution here was appealing and begging officials who were already in violation, giving them grace period and telling them to come and declare their asset, and they all fail. Despite the appeal, the grace period, appeal from the president, and everything else, these people fail. If you were in the position of the president, will you allow these people to? Because I think what they just did is laughable. Hey, look, you are suspended, and we want you to declare your asset. You remain suspended until your asset is declared. When you declare your asset, you can come right back to work. We'll give you your car, and then probably for the few days you are not suspended. I mean, you were suspended. Maybe that's the time you will get paid. I mean, how serious, and tough of a decision you think this actually is? For me, I think this is laughable.
I think I agree with you. And I think someone mentioned this earlier. I'm not sure if it was not Dr. Pearson. Look, those of us in education, right? When you start the school year, you set the atmosphere. If it is turning in your assignment, whatever it is, cell phone use, but you norm your classroom. You set the expectation with this, so that as the year progresses, it becomes, everybody is familiar with. The president came in and he himself, he derailed the asset declaration process, because the way he did it, he did not do it according to the law. Now, what is he going to use as a yardstick for penalizing people? It should have been done by the law, and then you can use the law and say, well, this is what the law requires. I don't know if he fires some of these people, whether they will not sue him, because he himself is guilty of not declaring his asset as required by the law. And so I don't know how else, but I will venture to maintain what I said earlier. I think he should, if he wants to demonstrate seriousness, new appointments, he should make it preconditional for new appointees now. And those who are already in the government, they should declare their asset as they go. But yeah, it is half-hearted. Obviously, it is unserious. Like we're saying, yeah, and they will all go tomorrow and run, to their offices and type their asset, whatever. Who knows? Maybe by Friday we'll have 57, asset declarations thrown at the LACC, and that will be it. And to me, that is not the way to do it.
So you see, now you get the picture how laughable this is, because this is exactly what these individuals are going to do.
Yeah.
They're all going to rush to LACC, carry all their papers and dump it there, and then they will obtain receipt that they have actually filed their assets and declaration, and then they will show wherever they work and say, look, I have done what I'm supposed to do. Yes, my evidence may be sent.
And they will still get full pay, in spite of the fact that
they will get full pay, and the vehicles will be given to them. The question I want to ask Dr. Pearson, and I'm going to be tough on him because he's carrying the president's profile, picture as a profile picture now. Look, my friend,
pay for that profile picture too.
Do you think this is unfair to the individuals who've been suspended? Because President Boakai himself was in violation of this very law for a few months. He did not get suspended by anybody, and now he's suspending people for the very act that he's guilty of. You think it's unfair to these officials or not?
So let me be clear, right? So I think we all have agreed that the president did not declare asset based on the law as provided for in the code of conduct. We also agree that the president, even to an extent, misfires his asset declaration. And as I speak, I'm not sure if they corrected, but if the asset declaration the president submitted had errors in it, and a lot of those who submitted their declaration had errors in it as well. So I'm not supporting any error in the process. What I'm saying is that I think the fact that the president mustered the courage to take action is commendable. What I'm saying also is that even though he mustered the courage, I didn't see any planning in the entire process before the pronouncement, meaning everything is chaotic right now. If there was any planning, I don't know, because like I said, grace pay is not on the compliant list. Grace pay is not also on the non-compliant list. So where is grace pay? All right, and that's a controversial issue. His son, who is at Noka, is not on the compliant list. He's also not on the non-compliant list. So that's a controversial issue. So those are key people. The Justice Minister also, Minister Tue, Oswald Tue, is not on the compliant list. Is not on the non-compliant. So where is the justice minister? Ain't no situated. These are all major issues. So I didn't see a lot of thought put into control mechanism in that process. That's where my concern was. But I commend him strongly on what he did. But let me come this way, right? Let me take it from another direction. So Mr. C, I'm more interested in how could he do it better going forward. So Name alluded to it. The law is clear. Declare asset prior to taking office. It's as clear as day. So I would think that, like the same thing John Molu said, you know, we organize ourselves. We told Mr. President, set up a committee, and you know, with some of us who got integrity and gave you the integrity that you want on, let us vet the people before you and give you the list, and you can pick from the list and then appoint it, just get out the name. But then, of course, political pressure took the president off guard, and the alliance took over, and he appointed everybody. And John Molu said the president lost it, they won. He lost control of the system, they won. So going forward, the president still appointing a government is not going to end being established. He's still going on. So the president, I would think, when you contacting people that you want to appoint, tell them, can you have your mind for appointment? Can you send me your there's an asset declaration form, or there's a package? Can you fill out this package and send it to me along with your CV, your asset declaration, pre-asset declaration form, and then based on that, the president can proceed. Then he has no issue. Another thing I would say, Mr. C, then I close on this. You remember when they were appointing them, all these people they firing, they were the one causing us. The president got the power to appoint and dismiss. Yeah. When we told them, say, oh, the other one attaining position, the president shouldn't say, oh, the president got the, they will quote all the article in the constitution, but the president got the power to appoint and to dismiss at his will and at his pleasure. So the president still got that will and pleasure power constitutionally. He can appoint you, he can dismiss you, and he owe you no explanation whatsoever. Clear. So they got no case.
And my simple question to you was, can we say this is unfair to the individuals?
No, it's not unfair, sir. It's not unfair.
How?
From all indication, it's not unfair. Because the president, there's a law. There's no exception to the law. So if you break the law, of course, you have to face the full weight of the law. Secondly, the president gave them enough time. So he getting the benefit of the doubt. I just did not see the planning, that's all, behind the decision right now. That's all. That's the only concern I have.
All right. Mr. Dukley, do you see fairness in this process? A president who was in violation for several months now, suspending others for the same thing he did, that he was guilty of, and probably still is guilty of, because he didn't declare it on time. Go ahead.
I think, yeah, I mean, there is, on the face of it, there is an unfairness. It's obvious. I mean, the president himself wasn't in compliance for some time before. I mean, yes, but again, Anthony, Dr. Pearson just alluded to some of the problematic aspect of this whole exercise as he just went through. You know, it's really troubling to see that even something as straightforward as this asset declaration, it was not carried on without any glitch. You know, look at all the loopholes that is within this whole process. And so, for me, that speaks to who President Joseph Boakai is. I mean, you would have expected his enormous experience in government to bear on a process as simple as this one, asset declaration. The terms are very clear. They are straightforward. They do not require any hard thinking. So, but again, because of the kind of person he is, he's not decisive and he's not organized. So it's not too surprising to see that even something as profound as the asset declaration, because you see, Anthony, I've said this before, we talk about corruption all the time as being the menace that is eating up our people and our country. And some of these things are within us, is within the government to arrest these things, to put an end to it. Because even within the various departments of government, the waste that is within those agencies and ministries, if government is able to control some of those waste, I mean, they can save significant amount of money. So yes, it would be unfair to those guys who are suspended because the president himself was in violation of the same act that under which these guys are now being suspended. But again, it speaks to, when we look at the overall performance of the government, beginning with the president, I mean, it's a mediocre to say the least. But again, what would have been the alternative? Should you just, okay, it's belated, they didn't do it as they were expected, it's something that is expected of them. So what? Do you let it go? Do you leave it? Do you not do anything about it? Well, something has to be done, and something has been done, despite it being late, or they said despite it being not sufficient, in my opinion, as everybody has said. But nevertheless, it is still something. It is still something. I get that. I get the fact that it was belated. They haven't done it the way they should. But it is something. Let's recognize it for what it is.
Look, if this president is serious, all the officials suspended for not declaring the asset should not come back. This is the rule of law president, my people. This man was the rule of law candidate. This is rule of law that being bushel by being bushel on the table of rule of law by all these individuals that he appointed. Some of them did it for exact 1 year. Some of them did it for 6 months, depending on the time he appointed these individuals. These people should not come back. I mean, that's the only way I will be prepared to commend the president. Because he pleaded with these people. Yep. These people's names were released to the media. It's not that these people are not aware that this is something that is a requirement before taking office. Now you feel the president pleaded with you and you did not do anything. And now the president is telling me, well, you are suspended. Once you declare your asset, you can come back to work. Seriously? So some people have declared today, the very day they'll be suspended, they have declared, they have the evidence, they are returning to work. This is a joke.
I couldn't agree with you more, Anthony. In Liberia, we all grew up as Liberian kids. And we know some of us used to be stubborn and say, but what if Papa will do that? He will only beat me like, or the old man will only yell that, that's it. So it's like we can be so cavalier about things because what will happen? He will suspend us, then I will bring my assets declaration, and then I go back to work. Nothing comes out of it. And then when you talk about, the president, a theology will say, in the church will say, he said, kind of do what I say, but don't do what I do. You also fail it, but you're suspending people for doing the very thing you also did. But again, that's the society we are from. The reason we got all the criminals in government today is because we celebrate failures, we celebrate corruption, we celebrate mediocrity. Somebody that is indicted by another foreign government and say, no, these people that did XYZ, we elect those kind of people to be senator and we celebrate them. We elect them to be representative. We celebrate them. When we should we should frown at these kind of things that you have. We should be electing people with impeccable character, not people we can't be electing people that are flawed, and then we expect that the people who are flawed will run a clean system. It's preposterous. It's mind-boggling. How do you expect a flawed person to run a clean system? It's not going to work. So look in the House of Representatives, look in the Senate, look in the cabinet, everywhere. You got all these flawed people, and we expect good to come out of them. Good's not going to come out of them. So Liberians, we got to come to that place and say, you know what? If you have any indictment on your character, it's better we don't put you in office because there's nothing good you're going to do. You're only going to use the office to further insulate yourself. So why should we elect those kind of people in office in the first place? Are we saying there are not Liberians with impeccable character that we can put in this place? Liberians with track record, with proven record that can do it. But that is the society we're in. Anything that is criminal, we celebrate it. Anything that is flawed, we celebrate it. Anything that is mediocre, we celebrate it. So somebody can fail 7 times if you get one late passing walking stick who say, "Oh yeah, you know you did good," no, that I'm not part of that stuff. I'm not gonna do that.
So
Can I answer that question quick? That one you asked about firing them. I just want to throw a point on that.
yes, please, because that's the
couldn't
only
agree with
way
you more.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I couldn't agree with you more, Mr. C. That's what I said. I didn't see a lot of planning going into this. So, like I said, there are major positions that are right now hanging in oblivion, and you're trying to run a whole country. Now, let me give you one. You know, sometimes people. President Taylor said this to Ellen one time. She was making sharp mouth before she became president. He said, "The day you wear my shoes, then you know what it is to run a country, especially the people of Liberia." When Ellen became president, she referenced that statement one time when we at Ellen were giving her a hard time. She referenced that statement in front of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, giving her a hard time for tuition going up, and she referenced that statement. She said, "My children, that is in charge state said," and then she quoted and said, and said, "You're giving chance. Country not hard, not easy to run. This not whole country, not just your LU campus." And that's what I'm trying to say here, Mr. C. If the president had put in a lot of planning and talking to this, all these white guys would defy him. I was surprised to see Kopa Kura they on asset declaration. I was surprised to see Amos Stewart did his. These are the guys who carried the ombudsman to court. But they have done that only in the background and playing a defiant mode. Now, maybe the other friends talk you from there and say, "Oh, no, we're not to our own because our men, our big senior guys, and they not do theirs." Now, they finish doing theirs in the background. All right. So I would have, if I was President Boakai, I would say this, and I agree with you, Mr. C. I would have come up today and listed the 400, or after I validated those names, clearly that they are accurate. I will list the 400 names, dismiss them, and list their replacement because of especially the critical roles. We replace them immediately, the critical roles, because like you said, what the guy's gonna do now? Somebody just gonna grab some paper and just face anything and carry it to LACC, you know. So I don't know. Maybe World Trade Center gonna be busy tomorrow.
World Trade is open for business tonight. I'm telling you, World Trade Center is look. We all know our country. We all know our country, and we know how the officials are so attached to these positions. They know what they get out of these positions, so that they will do anything to protect it. Now that the president have given them a lifeline, just declare and come back to work. These guys are busy tonight. World Trade Center is making money as we speak. LACC will be busy tomorrow. Those guys, they will get some money.
What is that World Trade Center, Anthony?
It's somewhere that they do documents.
Yeah.
So any document you want to do, go there, they will do it for you.
You mean fraudulent documents?
No. They just do your typing. They can do anything. Let's just
yes. They
just
produce some fraudulent document. But the thing is, they can duplicate any legal document and it will look legitimate. The only way you know that this is
well known. People know that this is what happens there, and nothing comes out of it.
No, and now that everything they're doing there is illegal. Like for me, my business in Liberia, I went there, they produced my ID cards for my business, for all my staff. No, they do very good job. I will tell you, I will be the first person to tell you. I tell you, there are so much talent in Liberia, I tell you.
Absolutely.
This gentleman, he had a little computer and he produced an ID. For me, it's just that I can't wake up now to go to my
No. I have gone to World Trade
They
Center.
will produce an ID card that will even be better than the one the government issues. I'm telling you.
Oh,
they have the talent.
Where is this World Trade located?
Gurley Street.
Gurley Street. There's a building.
Center Street.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Anthony. I hear Dr. Pearson, right, trying to reference Ellie and Taylor and all that. Yes, government is hard. All of us here will work. Maybe you lead in other aspects. Now I'm sitting in the seat of leadership here in the city, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? I'm cracking my brain. But here's the thing: when it comes to the Liberian story, you can use other people's experience. Okay, somebody like Ellie. Okay, she never became president. She never even got close to it. Taylor never became president. He never got close to it until they became president. JMB got close to it. Weah never became president, never even got close to it. But JMB was close to it. He was vice president for 12 years. We know what the Liberian problem is. So when you say you are an opposition party, like I said, every political party is a government in waiting. So when you come to the scene, why did you throw your hat in the race? It's because you say, oh, these are some things that I see wrong. I want to get there to fix. That's why you get in the race. Or else, if the person that is already president is doing well, why would you want to remove them? You got in the race because you felt, and I listened to JMB even before the election when he went to Nigeria, he went other places. He did a couple of interviews and they asked him all these questions. And he enumerated all the wrongs that Weah was doing. He enumerated the wrong trajectory the country was on, that he was the one saddled with the responsibility to fix it. So then when you come in after being in government all these years and being vice president 12 years, listen, I will raise the stick for you because I know you know better. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. So I'm not going to lower the stick. I will lower the stick any day for George Weah because the man came from football field to try to do this thing. He didn't know. He's not well schooled, but not JMB. So the stick for JMB will be much higher. So you come there now to fix this thing. In the first place, when you were vice president, laws that you created, you came and started violating the very laws you created while you were vice president. So that's something that is fundamentally wrong. So we can't excuse him. We should hold his feet to the fire. He got to do better.
So here's why I said I was hopeful, right? I mean, the president's declaration is action, and then we read what the CSA Josiah did. I don't know if you guys have read too. Today also, some officials of the UP government went to petition LAC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, to intensify the efforts to combat corruption. It seems to me there's a groundswell being built here. There must have been some meeting. I don't know about it. I'm not saying there was, but it is possible that this president has found his righteous indignation. I think he's making, like you said, Anthony, I mean, there's a level of feeling disrespected here. I'm hoping that this president has finally gotten vexed and he's ready to act. So these are some of the things I was considering, when I said I'm hopeful that this is the president we have all been waiting for, who is finally coming out of his shell and he's ready to turn the corner. But then again, if you look back, this president, he actually, like you said, he begged these people to declare their answer. He gave them a deadline on November 17th. He gave them 10 days. Nobody did anything, pretty much. So
November 2024.
Of 2024, yeah. So, what do they say about your future performance, right? It predicts, predicts your future performance, your rear view, your past performance. So if we're to judge him by that, these 457 people, all of them will come back to work, as we are indicating here.
Mr. Namwe, I'm not cutting you off here. If the president has been looking for a golden opportunity, all right, to use his gavel or to reset the tune, to prove, at least for once, the campaign he ran, that he is about the rule of law. This is it. These are individuals who fire themselves.
This could be it, yeah.
These individuals fire themselves.
Yeah.
They told the president, they disrespected the president's instruction here. They violated the law and disrespected the president's instruction. Please, how could a president be? They said the man has a power to fire. And now the president is saying, well, I know you are suspended. Just go and declare and come right back. This is not seriousness. This is an opportunity for the president now to even get on board with an immediate reshuffle of his government.
It depends on JMB definition.
Individuals in his government, he should know by now.
Yes, then I think, Anthony, to your point.
Hold on, gentlemen. He should know by now the proactive individual in his government. I'm troubled by the revelation made by Dr. Pearson here. The Minister of Justice name is
Yep.
not on the list of people who comply and on the list of those who did not comply. Why? The same thing with the man who
chief
caught
of
the
staff.
shot or
His chief
Grisper, the chief of staff. Why? What is going on here?
His son.
Something is not right. You know, so maybe Pastor Salif or rather I smell something nefarious. Because
So again, I'm not making
these are the people that are
excuses.
calling the shot. Why they're not on any of the lists? It's
I'm not
suggested
making
that they didn't
excuses,
comply
but
and the president does not want to do anything about it.
let's not
Anthony,
forget. Let's not forget.
I
Prince
think,
Johnson.
Anthony, I don't think anyone on this platform is denying what you are saying, but I also agree with the analogy Brother Salif just used that yes, Boakai had been in the proximity of power for 12 years, and Ellen and Charles Taylor had not been closer to anywhere to the presidency other than when they became president. So yes, I'm with you on that. But again, we know and we have seen for a fact that Joseph Boakai's 40 years of experience has not bear absolutely nothing on his presidency to date. And so for that, we can keep holding his feet to the fire for that. Again, that's because the indecisiveness of the way he has rendered his decision, like you said, rightly, I'm 100% with you, Anthony. The carelessness and the recklessness with which these people have been dealt with, they should have been gone, not to return. There are many capable Liberians out there who could take their place. But again, it speaks to, you have to look at it from the top here in this particular instance, that Joseph Boakai and you know what, to a certain extent, the mentality. I don't know if you all recall when Ellen was once confronted about dealing with corruption in our country. She said, you know, our country is a very small country. People are kind of related. So what she was trying to insinuate there was that you can't really come after everybody when they're corrupt.
Ellen, it was Joel Howard Taylor.
Pardon me? No, this was Ellen.
Ellen says similar thing that we are related.
Yes.
Yeah, she too.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
And so now people have come to internalize that kind of way of thinking. And I'm pretty sure when you look at the way Joseph Boakai conducted this suspension, that part of it has to do with that way of thinking, these people got family to feed, etc. They're not looking at the fact that these people were given from January 2024, and we are now in February of 2025, So, I mean, what prevented them from declaring their asset all this time? So, I mean, they probably didn't need a job. Get them off fire, and there are countless Liberians who could be there to replace them. But again, it speaks to the individual we are talking about here, who is at the helm of the government, who is indecisive, who has shown by all his actions and decisions that he is not up to the job. So honestly, I don't think anyone will argue with your position here. But again, we have to recognize it for what it is and for where we are.
And gentlemen, this is that opportunity. I asked the question earlier. What does the president do now going forward to prevent this mess from falling in his lap again? These people should be gone. They should be fired. They have so much time to declare their asset. The president, because he too was not in a good moral standing on this, because he too was in violation, he gave them so much time. Not only did he give time, he openly and publicly pleaded with these individuals to declare their assets so that they can get in compliance and not stay in violation. The individuals feel if the president let these people go, anybody coming back to power, if the president say, look, when you are appointed going forward, you must declare your asset before you can even go for Senate confirmation. And I want it to be made public because myself, I did the same thing. This is how you set the tune. If JMB does this thing tomorrow, I will change my Facebook profile to JMB picture,
yes.
and then it will remain there to the end of this year. Look, gentlemen, I mean, so that's what this guy is. We have to be able to get this thing right. This is not about sympathy. This president needs to set the tone. And this is the greatest opportunity of his life. Look at Mr. Steve Zago, who did terrible thing. The president suspended him. And now all along he didn't declare his asset. Now another suspension is on him. That man should be gone. And now the president should be in a place of thinking, well, these people get family. We are interrelated. The people need to eat. And how many librarians don't have job? Millions. And of the millions you've been chosen, you get car, you get instructor, you get everything. And you are this negligent with this kind of responsibility. You don't even thinking about your family, that the president should be thinking about his family. Imagine officials of government who are not filing, their assets and liability. Do you think these people will even submit reports? I tell you this much. The government institutions, all of them supposed to be submitting their annual report at the end of the year. How many have done that? I know my friend Josiah has done his. He did. How many officials will submit their annual report to the president? Will the president even demand that something as minimal as your own assets, they are failing to do that? You think you ought to give a comprehensive report to the president? Talking about their challenges and their recommendation, how to improve
watch this, Anthony. If the president were to allow all these people to go and appoint new people in their places, bet me, only one thing will happen. All those new people will file their assets, they will declare their assets before they even take seat. And he will say, listen, I'm bringing in you guys before you are commissioned. I want to see your asset. I'm telling you, there will be there will be no one that will not declare their assets. But the very people who defy the stuff, if you bring them right back because they did it overnight, that's no punitive measure. They will just repeat it again. Because it's just, the papa will just yell at me, the papa will just spank me, and that's it. They will go right back and do it again.
Yeah, I think that the same thing I said earlier, that I think it should be a part of the process of recruiting. It should be in a package.
I agree with you on that.
Your CV plus your asset declaration. But I want to say this last day on this point before we go to something else. But I think you're overpraising President Boakai. Being vice president for 12 years doesn't mean to say you learn anything on the job. President, you can go back and say, Papa, he was there 12 years, he didn't learn anything on the job. In fact, the man said he was a pack car. So how can he be a pack car and not running on the track? And then he got experience on the track. It's not going to work. Like one of my friends I had way back in grade school, the man couldn't pass 6th grade. He just couldn't pass by 6th grade. So the man looked at for long and said, I'm wasting my hair on school business. He went and learned to be mechanic. So maybe you guys overrating Boakai. You're overrating the president.
Well, you don't want to change your profile picture. So we should be saying that. But gentlemen, on a serious note, trying to fast pen, let's see if our callers can come in. I've been displaying the number and I posted it in the Facebook feed also as well as YouTube. Here is the number to call to participate. 605-313-6004. Enter the code 791403 pound. And then if you load beneath my name there, you will also see the number is also there and it's posted in both Facebook and YouTube live feed there. We want you to participate, join the conversation. The president has found an opportunity here to reset and send out a strong message. I think a strong message is to say, none of you coming back. You're not coming back. There are thousands of librarians way qualified out there who are praying to serve their country. And I gave you this opportunity, pleaded with you all this time, and this is what you do. You are gone. And then here's another thing. The Unity Party people have been complaining about, well, this is a kind of coalition government. All the people that supported the president have to factor them in. And so the thing is not in line as a shoe. This is that opportunity. Let the president allow these people to stay. He can bring in the best and the brightest of our country. This man should be a president of legacy. This is the greatest opportunity. Somebody tag the president to come and listen to this thing. This is an opportunity for the president. Let these people stay, appoint new people. The whole country will celebrate this president. Because in as much as Liberians try to support their own devils, they also believe and know that doing the right thing, you can't go wrong with that. This is that opportunity. I hope the president will use the opportunity to come in with a reshuffle. Gentlemen, let's go to the phone line. We have a caller. Let me see there. I think it's Mr. Todman. He's always tough on my papa. Mr. Todman, you are live. Are you laughing? My man, you're always tough on the papa. I say I can be tough on the papa, you know me for that. Go ahead.
Oh my God. Well, how you doing, gentlemen? Thank you for the discussion tonight. Look, I just want to say two things on this asset declaration issue. Now, let us ask ourselves, if you ask Mr. Boakai now, he declared his asset before later on he declared after he took office after some time. Now, for the 1 year he been in office as president, ask him right now, what is his asset? Ask Mr. Boakai right now, what is his asset, his present asset? You're going to be surprised. In the few times he governed, you will be surprised. So that tells you declaring your asset doesn't stop you from being corrupt. It doesn't stop you from being corrupt. If you ask the president now, what is your present asset? Every one of us here will be surprised. What is his present asset? You see? So let's get a point. Oh, declare asset. Yeah, these guys can declare their asset. But when they leave office and you check their assets, the time frame they set and what they accumulated during the time they was in office, you will be surprised that whatever their salary was couldn't even accumulate to the point what they have achieved as ministers or whatever. So declaring assets is one thing, but when the person leaves the office, when they leave office, what is the asset after they leave office? How do they accommodate all this wealth? Can they get account of those things? Mr. Boakai now declares asset. You go back and see Mr. Boakai asset right now. You will be surprised why he accommodated in the short time he has. So that's one point I will make. And then another point where, look, these guys should declare the asset and come back. How long it takes Boakai to form his government? How long it takes him to form his government when he took office? He don't have anybody. So he's just telling you, look, declare your asset and come right back. The man is still forming his government. Up to now, he's still looking for people to stay in areas. So he can't get rid of these folks. He cannot get rid of them. He cannot get rid of them. He's not prepared. He's not prepared to replace them. This is why he's saying, listen, you're going to declare asset and come right back. So that's just my point I wanted to put through. That's all. But if you ask Mr. Boakai right now, what is his asset, his present asset right now, you guys will be surprised.
Well,
go and check the record.
Mr. Tomer, you think going forward, what should the president do on this particular issue? What you think should be the way forward to prevent something like this from happening, and probably, set a precedents in place that other leaders coming after President Boakai will follow? What do you think he should do now?
Mr. Boakai should start with himself first. He should start. He should be the example. He should set the example. He should start being corrupt. He's the core of the problem. He's corrupt, very, very corrupt. So if the head is being corrupt, the tail will follow suit. There's nothing you can do about it.
My specific question is, Mr. Todman,
set a precedent in your home. You got a family.
Mr. Todman,
set a precedent in your home.
Mr. Todman,
you will set a precedent, and everybody will follow your footsteps.
Yeah, Mr. Todman, my specific question is, what should he do now about the whole asset declaration thing, so that it can be a precedent that others will follow and an example that others can learn from?
I just told you. I think Mr. Boakai can start for himself.
Yeah.
Let Mr. Boakai go right back now and declare asset again. You're going to be surprised. So this corruption in our country, it starts from the head.
Okay.
The corruption in this country, it starts from the head. The old man is corrupt until he can see reason to say, well, listen, What am I accumulating right now as president? I need to stop some of these things. I need to obey the law. I need to follow the rule of law in this country. And everybody else will follow suit.
Thank
but
you.
in the action of that, forget about it.
Thank you.
These guys declare the asset, they come right back. After subtraction, they're doing the same thing. When they leave office, they get more than what they had before they even went to government. So it doesn't mean anything. You must say we can talk all we want. Declare asset, don't declare asset. It doesn't mean nothing.
Thank you.
It's the same old thing. It's the thing going on at the same way. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. You know, gentlemen, I think the president, right, even though he did it in violation, he did it way too late. When he declared, later there was pressure mounted on him, and it was published, right? So these people now, I mean, if you look at the communication that came from the office of the president, these people are suspended. They remain suspended until they declare their asset, and then they can come back. Their vehicles and all will be taken away from them. Some declare today. Probably the women will be going back tomorrow. Probably they were in possession of their cars and rush. They use the very cars that they shouldn't have driven in the first place and ran to LACC and declare and maintain their cars, right? That's what makes the thing a joke. But I think a good precedence here for the president to set is, look, first, you're not coming back, and I want to see evidence that you declare. Make it public, because I myself did the same thing. I think that would be a good precedent. Let's take another caller here. That is Mr. Colley. Mr. Colley, you are live. You have a minute, sir.
Yeah, how you doing to the panelists and all my brothers? Look, this thing is a joke, man. I don't think the man is serious. Let's put it in the simplest form. Why do you have a soccer team, you're playing a serious match, a serious game that you're going to play, and suspending everybody? So what about those that are outside? And how they call it, ambassador? Are they going to call everybody back? Let's be serious, man. Is Boakai serious? Is this the 40-some more years old experience that we're bringing on the table? The man gotta be serious, man. He's not serious at all. We don't see any seriousness in this administration. Because you won't tell me everybody is suspending. Education minister or all those people, nothing will go on in the government. So what would they be doing? What would those ministers be doing? Where our ambassador outside will be doing? So everybody will be suspended. Everybody got to come back. But I need to be serious, man. This is what the Liberian people voted him for. Thank you all, man. God bless you all.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, come here.
Yes. You want to participate on the show? We are talking about mass suspension for non-compliance of government officials by the president.
Yes, I would like to.
Yeah, go ahead. You are on. You are live. The whole of Liberia is listening to you. In fact, the whole world is listening to you right now.
Oh, okay. So, first of all, I don't know how to start, but anyway.
Yeah, your name first and where you're calling from.
My name is Elvani B. Mame, and I'm calling from California. I am a former chief investigator of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights of the Republic of Liberia. I'm a former student leader of the University of Liberia, and I'm a human rights consultant of the United States. Also, I'm a businessman here, and I come and wear many hats, so it's just a matter of introduction. But as it relates to the topic under discussion, we just received information that the president, Honorable Joseph Nima Boakai, suspended most of those who he claimed did not.
Well, now that he claimed, according to the LACC, 457 officials of his appointed officials failed miserably to comply to the LACC, I mean the code of conduct by not declaring their assets and liabilities.
Okay. All right. So thank you for that information, sir. The code of conduct is a law. As we all know, it has a time frame. It has a limit of time of 30 days where the president should have taken action. And first of all, let me just say this action is way, way, way belated. It's a weak action. It's a charade. It's a knee-jerk action because the government is becoming very unpopular.
they sat down in their closet and decided that they have to do something to show strength. They got to do something to show that they are working, they are making progress, they are trying to fight corruption, or they're trying to fight lack of accountability. So they said, okay, let's go ahead and take this action. But if this action was carefully thought through, I don't think the LCC is supposed to come up with a list where there are people who are dead people who you will find out that at the end of the day, there will be people who will be working while they are suspended. So what do you do with people like Louis Brown, who is at the United Nations? Are you going to call him back home? Are you going to tell them, say, okay, don't work, don't represent the government? So why did he wait all this time? He could have just tell the Senate, don't confirm anybody who is coming as an appointee without declaring their assets. That could have solved this problem even before. But you know, Joseph Boakai, he always works in reverse order. What he's supposed to do first, he does it last. And he seems to not have the government experience we expected of Joseph Boakai is completed the opposite. This is what we're experiencing. And mind you, this particular list you see today, give it 2 days maximum. There will be a whole lot of chaos coming from different ministers, different individuals who have already declared their assets, but their name is on the list. People who, it's just going to be a complete chaos like Chuck E. Cheese. That is what's going to happen.
So, Mr. Fani Mohammed, now that day has happened, going forward, what you think should be the president decision, the president approach? What should the president do to not have this repeated in the future, and to also set an example? What you think the president should do? What should be the best course of action now?
First of all, thank you for the question. The president, as an experienced person, should first of all do his homework, coordinate all the branches of government, all the sectors of government responsible for such an action. I would say the first thing the president should ever do is, if you want to set an example, tell your appointees, before I even review your credentials, be prepared to go to the LACC and declare your assets. Now, if they don't listen, tell the Senate, I'm sending my appointee. They should be, in fact, make sure your appointees declare their assets before going to the Senate for confirmation. But if you take your appointee, knowing that they are not declared their assets in violation of our law, and send them to the Senate for confirmation, and the Senate confirm them, they start working, they're making money, then you kind of suspend them, general suspension. Everybody, 1 month suspension, which in fact will not even make any sense, because a lot of people will still be working, a lot of people will still be safe, and nothing will happen because this government is very slow. So I would say anytime the government decides to take an action, especially when it has to do with the law, let them be proactive. It shouldn't be coming from the back. They should make sure that instead of coming from the back, let them make sure any appointee going for nomination or confirmation should have already declared their assets. Let them see a copy. Let them see a declaration that the person is serious about the job by declaring their assets. And like I said before, I even told the CDC guys when they were coming to power, mind you, I supported the CDC not because it was my political party, because I don't have any political party. I talked to some comrades, because most of the comrades of the CDC know me. I trained them. We were comrades and our leader for some of them. I told them, I said, the first step in the fight against corruption is asset declaration. If you fail in that fight, you will fail. And that's what happened to the CDC. And mind you, this particular fight, Joseph Boakai is fighting from the back. He already lost the battle. The game is over. He lost the fight. Like I said, the first action, the first step in the fight against corruption is asset declaration. Because the man who knows that his asset will be declared will be afraid to see, because he knows that people will question how he got the money. But if you can't declare your asset, you go into government. The natural tendency is to see.
Mr. Mohammed?
Because of time, this is my final question. I have argued during this discussion that, look, the president has a golden opportunity here to reset and send out a strong message. All those suspended for non-compliance should remain suspended and even replaced or fired. The president will send out a strong message. There are more qualified librarians out there who can do these jobs even more better than these individuals. Do you agree, or you think that would be too much?
I agree with you. But to be honest with you, Joseph Boakai is not going to do it. This is a political reset, and I don't even think Joseph Boakai has control. The president has control over what is going on with this particular scheme that is going on. You will find out later on that this is a scheme intended to get rid of certain people and bring certain people back on board. But if, like you said, if the president is serious, this will be his political reset if he does it right. Make sure that all those that are in violation of this law get out of office. Let them leave and bring new people. Because if they were serious about leadership and accountability and transparency, they would have declared their answer by now. It should have happened in 30 days. They are taking 1 year. What is they waiting for? Get rid of them, bring new people in on board, and see if you tell anybody, say, and like I said to my younger brother before, I say, look, the fight against corruption begins within. My father used to say the fire can burn the seed of the, before it goes to the forest, to burn the forest. If Joseph Boakai starts to take action against his members of his cabinet, even if we're in the opposition will know that the man is serious and they will come after them. But if you can't take action against these people, this particular one, if it fails, he lost the fight. So like you said, I agree with you 100%. If Joseph Boakai can take the action that you just mentioned, get rid of these people, bring in new people, anybody who is bringing the government, they should declare their answer before they go for confirmation. I believe he will be on a bright trajectory about changing and reforming this country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, I think you heard him there. He's in agreement with all of you, except that senior brother Nambo is saying, look, I'm a teacher, you know, when a person in school leave 50 or 70, encourage them. Maybe they'll push it to 85 the next time. And you know, Clarence too being a teacher. Myself too, I was a teacher. You know, you fail, man.
No, I was a teacher, and I agree with that premise. And I have been a student who struggled in some of my college courses. The professors, they work with me. But the reason you encourage the student, because they're making the effort. You see the effort the person is trying to make. It's not an administration that's not making effort. After 1 year, they can't do one 45 marks, something that you say, no, you fail. Repeat the class. Go summer school. Let's send the administration to summer school.
Actually, maybe some of you on the panel might remember the late Dr. Frederick Gbigbe. Frederick Gbigbe used to teach, I think, physics or chemistry. If you score 10, you will put 10 on your report card. You score 5, you put 5 on your report card.
And I'm sure that motivated people to work harder.
Dr. Frederick Gbigbe.
Yeah, listen. Education, we taught you want a glass half full situation. You don't want an empty. You want to encourage the student to keep trying. You don't want to put them in a situation where they will just.
But Mr. Namo, in this case, we are not talking about a student. We are talking about a professor of government here.
I understand that. I understand that.
But this is a professor who is not even doing lesson planning. We're talking about
ideally, this is not what we wanted. This is not what we expect from our government. Notwithstanding, in the scheme of things right now, as things are, we think this is a step up. It's better than where things are. I mean, that's for me. That's how I'm looking at it.
So, gentlemen, let us wrap it off. 1 minute each for closing. Let's start with you, Mr. Duclet, to close. And going forward now, with all this, what should be done? You're closing.
Well, I think what we've seen so far manifested in this asset declaration exercise should be emulated in other areas that we see the president lacking. So if in order for us to say that things might look better, I think it is incumbent on the president, like you rightly said, this is his moment. This is the opportunity that he's got to pick up the momentum going forward so that we can see some muscle behind his decisiveness, behind some of his crucial decision, no matter how controversial they might be. You know, because if it's in the best interest of Liberia, so be it. It doesn't matter who will be affected, but let him try to do what he needs to do to move Liberia forward. So, you know, maybe, who knows, like Brother Nagbe just said, you know, you have to commend him with this, and hopefully this would be a launching moment for them to move beyond where we are right now. So and for that reason, despite everything we've said tonight, I know it's mundane compared to what is expected of them, but let's hope that this is the beginning of a new momentum that he's going to pick up.
Thank you. Just Victor, give us your closing, load in the camera and speak to the president. Play the role of an advisor right now. In all fairness, we need the president to work for our country to move forward. So speak to him. This is a serious issue. Accountability is a big deal.
It is indeed serious. And I honestly, I share your sentiments on this matter. But I would just encourage the president. We expect him to do better than this. We hope this is Boakai waking up from his slumber and shaking off the rust of the past 12 years, 12 months, and beginning to turn the corner. We're still holding our hope, and we think he can do better. We didn't have a chance to talk today. I think I don't know if it is called Nemot or Nemote.
Yeah,
but is it Nemot?
Yeah, Nemot.
Okay. So I think they came out with the Boakai meetup today. Maybe we'll talk about that some other day. I think.
Oh no, tomorrow will be on Tough Talking Thursday. Don't miss it.
There you go. So 126 promises made, and I think so far only 5 have been completed. So he is, he's below sea level in terms of performance on all levels. So hopefully this suspension today is him, treading water and trying now to swim, come on the surface and begin to swim ashore and get on dry land and begin to do the people's business. If he's really serious, he needs to tackle this mess in the House of Representatives. I think it's a real big black mark on this government. The fact that he's parading with Richard Kuhn all over the place is illegal. He's a coup maker, and they need to go back, like the court said. Bese has already broken ranks. We're waiting for the Supreme Court to come out with a bill of information, and let's hear what they're going to say. I think and quickly, I almost forgot. Last night I made an assertion here that towards though his judgment may be in question, but I think I may have called his qualification into question as well. I wish to take that back. I think he's eminent lawyer. He's very qualified, but I think his position on this matter with the House of Representatives is dead wrong. I'm sure he's regretting that he took that stance. And the president needs to help the situation by correcting this mess at the House. I'm sorry I left the reservation, but I just had to throw that in. But thank you for the show. Great show. Thanks to the callers as well. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow and bring some kind of clarity to what is happening into our country. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Clarence, I wanted to make you the last, but you got a president picture, your profile, so you will not be last today.
How long was the profile picture really up, Dr. Pearson?
I really want to make a president picture, my profile picture.
It was up the whole day.
President got to take my advice on the one. Oh man, let other people be gone. Bring in new people and reset the whole thing. Yeah.
One day profile picture now will be the rest of 2025.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead. You're close.
Don't make Sam Warren happy for nothing. That was just a gesture to show that it was belated, but it's a step in the right direction.
No, the ANC will require you to reapply. So
coming May 1st major interview. You don't change your picture or comment picture. You change your picture or Boakai picture.
I sure we address that. We address it tomorrow. But okay. I think President Boakai, like Nangwe said, if he's waking up, then we are glad. We always say this. This is not personal. This is about Liberia. Liberia is all we have. It's just that one piece of country that we all are working towards. We all might be coming from different directions, but we all want, to some extent, we all want to see good come out of Liberia, no matter how critical we are. And, I just didn't see a lot of thought process into the implementation of what he wanted to have achieved from this suspension. I would have loved to have seen him address critical roles that was affected or was to be affected by this decision of the suspension, and would have had a replacement, a solid replacement for those roles, so that we are not left thinking, oh, but then what's going on with those names, and those are the things we've seen lacking all along in this administration, with the asset recovery team and other initial steps that the president took. And we continue to see the same pattern over and over, and this is sad. And I think Liberia really needs leadership, and we believe President Boakai is not the one to give us that leadership, and the people around him also failing him. So I pray, before I close, Mr. C, I want to say thank you for having me. I just want to extend my sympathy to my fellow Liberians in the Banja area. A police officer shot one of our citizens today, a fisherman in the Banja Beach area. They shot one of our citizens there. Up to now, we have not gotten a full detail as to why he shot the man, shot the young guy. I mean, on a point blank, just kill him, murder him. Well, clear justification. So they're still looking into that. I hope the government can look into that and give us some answers. And then besides that, I want to say thank you again for having me tonight, and to our listeners and viewers, and to my esteemed panelists. It was a pleasure having us tonight.
We appreciate you for your contribution, coming here and putting in 2 hours almost every day to contribute to national discussion. We can't pay you for that. We thank you so much. Man of God, you are closing us tonight. Your final word. And I want you to look in the camera and advise the president on this subject of asset declaration and what he should do going forward.
Thank you, Anthony. And thanks to all the other panelists. Great show tonight. If I were to speak to the president, if they were watching tonight, this is my simple words to the president. Mr. President, those who praise you and those who critique you, we all love you and we love our country. Those who are praising is because they love their country. Those who are critiquing is because they also love their country. With righteous intensity, we all love our country. And we just want it to be better for ourselves, for our children and children's children. And we believe, Mr. President, you have the golden opportunity to create lasting legacies. So please do the right things, do the things you got to do. If the suspension is out of clear conscience because people violated the law, make sure they don't come back, because that will give you the opportunity to bring a fresh breed of people who are willing to, live within the laws of Liberia, and so it's a fresh step. Like I said, it's a fresh step, but there's way more to be done. So let's do the right thing and let's lift our country from where it is. Liberia has great potential. We have the great opportunity here to turn things around, to make the world know that, yes, Liberia is doing the right things. And I think you are saddled with that responsibility for now. So please, if this is you waking up, please don't go back to sleep. Please, we beg you. Wake up and stay woke. Thank you.
I will close by advising the president, given who you are, you should be a president for legacy. Be the first president in the history of Liberia who fired 457 appointees for their failure to declare their assets as required by law. You will go down in history and you will forever be remembered. Let this suspension not be a bluff, a joke, and a mockery of accountability. Because all you're trying to tell us is, please go declare your asset and come back to work. You are simply telling us they have not done anything wrong. They have not violated any law. Then that is not accountability. This government is struggling. There are thousands of Liberians who are qualified, who want the very opportunities the individuals have. These are privileged positions you have given to these individuals. You've done your part by declaring and even publishing. Not stopping that, you spoke publicly twice encouraging these individuals to declare their assets. The LSCC published their names multiple times. They failed. What more do you want to set an example, to set the tone, to be remembered as a president who made a landmark decision? If you let these people go by firing them for failing to declare their assets, West Africa will be talking about this. This thing will be on BBC tomorrow. This thing will be on CNN. President Boakai, you will become a conversation in terms of political decision making in the world. I who criticize you because I want our country to be better and I want you to succeed, I will change my Facebook profile to your picture, Mr. President. This is an opportunity. It is not that these are the underqualified librarians that can do this work. There are good librarians out there who can do even better. Now, on the issue of accountability and asset declaration, you will become the icon of asset declaration. When you allow these people to be gone for this failure, history will be kind to you. Students, I don't know, this example will be monumental. If you will not achieve anything, and if you can achieve this, President Boakai, your party will even be energized. The young people who might be disappointed now will be talking about you. I can't say that any further. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. If you blow this thing, then when it comes to the fight against corruption, your whole campaign about accountability and rule of law, then this is a monumental failure. Nothing more, nothing less. Free advice, you didn't pay a penny for it. If you do it, it will be good for Liberia, it will be good for you, it will be good for the country. Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough to our audience. I hope our president will listen and act, and I think Sam Wallow agrees with me now. Sam Wallow agrees with me on this one. Mr. President, that's it. The song says, we are all Liberians. The people who have been on the bench waiting to get in government, they are all Liberians. These Liberians who've been on the page, Mr. President, they blew it, and you can't save them on this one because we have competent people waiting to get the ball rolling. Folks, let's enjoy the song. We are all Liberians, and that will do it. Until we see you again tomorrow, more topical issues will be here on Tough Talking Thursday. I might be here to be tough again. Gentlemen, thank you, and let's go home and get some rest. Eagles, you did it. Mr. Namwe is a happy man. The Eagles, they got it. Bye-bye. Enjoy the song.
We are Liberians.